Show you guys not only how to make the healthiest smoothie, in my opinion, in the world. I will say I'm not going to give you any medical advice today. I'm not making any medical claims. But you can actually research a lot of the scientific studies that have been done on basically almost every single ingredient that I'm going to put in a smoothie. Now, in order to make a really good and clean smoothie, you need clean water. So this is actually the best way to purify water. And I say the best, not because it's really my opinion, but because you have to just look at laboratories. Carbon distillation, guys, that's where it's at. So I'm filling that with the reverse osmosis water, actually. And then run it through the distiller. So this is water that I already purified from last night. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this water, and then I'll move on to showing you guys. It's not only how to make the healthiest smoothie in the world. I mean, I've never seen one. In fact, if anybody, this would be of interest to me, if anybody has ever seen anyone make a smoothie better than this, or even remotely close, send me the link or tell me where, because I'm kind of surprised that I've never seen anybody do it. I'm actually really surprised. I've seen so many health channels and supposed health gurus, and I don't feel like it's super complicated. And I don't know, surprised, kind of, extremely surprised that nobody's ever done this before. This is going to be a highly anti-inflammatory smoothie. You're going to see, and by the way, let me know if you can hear me. I got an earpiece in, and when I walk away, I don't know if it's picking up the microphone in my ear. So let me know if you can hear me, and then we'll go from there. Okay, filling up the distiller. This is kind of my morning routine. Always making the clean water first, because as you're going to see with the smoothie, I'm going to put really clean water. And to actually make it even more powerful, now clean water is one thing, but then to make it really powerful, I'm going to put hydrogen in it, which it's already being brewed up right now as we speak. And let's start first with nutrients. Okay, so this is what makes a smoothie. Oh yeah, let me know if you guys, oh yes, can hear you. All right, Barbara, thank you. All right, so what makes a smoothie so healthy? But my goodness, honestly, there's a lot of things. It's a really long list. But the first thing I want to focus on is nutrients. So let's start with nutrients. Why? That's one of the most difficult things for people to get. In fact, it's kind of sad for me reading research in regards to, for example, how hard they say it is to be a healthy vegetarian and make sure to get all your nutrients, yet it appears that I'm getting all mine, no problem. And when I saw the foods out there that are eaten by a lot of vegetarians, well, then all of a sudden it became very clear to me why they don't get their nutrients. This right here is one of the ways that I get my nutrients. This is called Power Shake from a website called ishoppurium.com. If you want to support the channel and get a discount, you can use the code UPRISING144K. Why do I use this? Because I know that food inherently is deficient. This is literally my multivitamin, this powder, because it's just got all sorts of superfoods, and I know that the body responds better to food. So that's why I'm actually using food rather than like a pill or multivitamin. I'm not saying not to use multivitamins. I'm just saying that if I had the choice, this is the way that I do it. I actually don't take multivitamins. Okay, turmeric or turmeric. This is very anti-inflammatory, anti-cancerous. If anybody's dealing with inflammation, I'm gonna put a spoonful of that. It gives it a nice flavor too. I really like it. And thank goodness I found that it's affordable. Normally turmeric is really expensive and it's organic. And normally it's just so expensive. That little bag cost me less than $4. Cacao. So cacao is also anti-inflammatory. Has really been shown to help a lot of people in regards to pain. It's really good for your heart too. And it gives it a nice flavor. Now I'm not talking about milk chocolate with milk and sugar and stuff. This is literally just organic cacao. That's literally all it is. And I always suggest looking at ingredients, and you'll notice that it's just one ingredient. It's that simple, and it's not that expensive. I'm always trying to be quote unquote frugal with my smoothies because they're my morning breakfast every single day. And if you use the like super expensive stuff, well, I'm sure you can imagine. I mean, if you're rich, great. but if you're not rich, yeah, it'll get expensive real quick, and then you won't stay the course. So I always want to make sure to stay the course. Another anti-inflammatory but good fats, very anti-cancerous, and that's flax seeds. People ask me if I like the ground up ones or if I like the seeds. I like the seeds because when you grind things up, just like coffee, it like almost releases the essence of whatever it is that you're kind of grinding up, and it just tastes different to me. So I'm going to use this one. And you know what I'm actually going to do? This is kind of silly of me. So I am using the flax seeds, the whole flax seeds. If you're curious about it, you can research how they've literally used them in cancer research. And found to be very anti-cancer. I think they might even be anti-parasitic. That's one of the funny things that I've realized about a lot of foods that are anti-cancer. They happen to be anti-parasitic. This I just have extra. I've been wanting to finish this. This is actually ground up flaxseed, so exactly what I normally wouldn't use. But I'm gonna just throw some in there today. Why not? Gotta finish it up. Flaxseeds. Okay. Again, hope you guys can hear me as I walk away from the camera each time. Like I said, all these ingredients, or at least the majority of them actually, are going to be anti-parasitic, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancerous. Okay, the next one. And then, by the way, if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to ask while I'm doing the video. You guys can, and this is live, obviously, so you guys can ask questions. It's the best time to ask me questions. I get a lot of emails from people asking questions. This is the time to ask them if you were to have any. Somebody says, hello, loving your information from the UK. My path for healthy living. Oh, well, thank you. You know, I'm actually surprised how many people from the UK that really enjoy these. And so thank you for the kind comment. That's very sweet. I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos. Right now I'm putting something that the majority of people don't get, which is enough super greens, or greens in general. Now this is interesting. New research that just recently came out. Guys, you're gonna love this, because I have a lot of people who write me and whatnot who say things like, hey, you know, you're eating all these vegetables and vegetables aren't good for you, they're poisonous. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, right? You know, vegetables are bad for me. Okay, got it. Which is to me a little nutty, but I understand why, because they do have some toxins. And what they now saw in this most recent study is that the plant toxins actually have certain benefits. It's kind of like, you know what's difficult about understanding health? Everybody wants it to be black and white and just put it in a box. And it's not. You're going to have to do, in my opinion, some critical thinking. And they actually appear to have, some of these toxins appear to be actually good for basically handling parasites. And it's like, one of my favorite examples is iron. Let's talk about iron a little bit. Let's say that you need iron in your body, right? You're like, okay, oh, look at this. I'm not going to put this in there. Mushrooms, I grabbed the wrong bag. You know, if you were deficient in iron, this actually just recently happened with, it's an interesting story. I was not deficient in iron, but when the doctor saw my blood test and saw a healthy level of iron, they actually contacted me with some questions. And that's because they had a family member that just couldn't overcome an iron deficiency. And iron, you wouldn't want to grab a piece of metal made of iron and suck on it to try to get enough iron in your body. This is organic ginger. Another one really good for your health, and also appears to be anti-parasitic. I think it might even be antiviral. I can't remember. There's so many benefits to all these foods that have to be thrown in here. But also anti-inflammatory. Really good for your immune system and heating up your body. That's why it's nice to have ginger tea sometimes. So you wouldn't want to really suck on a piece of metal that's made of iron if you're iron deficient. However, this is why the plants are magical. This is why the sun is magical. This is why nature in general is magical. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm just washing the produce. You gotta wash the produce, guys. There are pesticides. I've seen the studies, even on organic produce, and it does make a difference when you wash it, even with tap water. The study showed over 70%, it was actually really nudging towards 80% of the pesticides came off. And it was on food that was not organic, this study. And me personally, I try to buy organic pretty much as possible because of the research. Like, for example, I'll tell you that in a second. So, finishing the iron thing. So, plants, plants will literally pick up the stuff in the soil, convert it. So there is a difference that I guess I would call organic and inorganic minerals. Inorganic minerals can be toxic. There's certain things that we consider toxic that could be in plants that actually have benefit. Just like people get it wrong when it comes to things like, I think someone says, what did you have for your last meal of the day? Well, I've actually made lots of videos about that. I've shown what I've had for dinner many times. Let's see, what did I have yesterday? I had a big salad with nuts. I had pistachios. I had pumpkin seeds in it, which are also very anti-parasitic. I had sauerkraut. I like fermented food in my salad. I had a special salad dressing made of turmeric, actually, which is just super delicious, that I made myself. What else was in that salad? Some sprouts, broccoli sprouts. Sometimes I'll put some tofu or mushrooms in it. What else was in it? It was a pretty large salad. Sometimes I'll put some steamed rice actually in my salad. You know, things of that nature. Oh, miso soup. Miso soup's a big one. I like to have something, the Japanese do this a lot. They like to have a little bowl of soup because it heats up your stomach and primes you to get ready to eat. There's a lot of wisdom in the way that the Japanese eat. It's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that they live so long. It actually appears that genetically, they might not be as good genetics for longevity of all things. So that means that the only reason they're living long is because they have a lot of healthy lifestyle choices, which is something I've observed about their culture, which is why I try to learn a lot about it. Though I like to learn from every culture, so. Okay, what are your thoughts on washing your vegetables in distilled water? I personally think that would be awesome. It's just that, look, can you do better than what I'm doing? Absolutely. Have I done better than what I'm doing in the past? Yes. I have gone absolutely super crazy where I did everything with my carbon distilled water. Everything would be super, super clean, super strict with my diet, but it was very difficult. And after a while, it became stressful. If you can do it, I think that's great. I think it would be better, of course, to use the cleanest water, ever. At some point in the future, I actually want to build, I don't technically have really a home, so at some point I want to build a home, and I have all these ideas. One of them, I want to get some special Japanese equipment for purifying the water for the entire house, and actually structuring the water for the entire house. That is not going to be bringing any crazy benefits or anything, but it has shown in studies to bring down bacteria and parasites and viruses in the water. I'll still run it through my carbon distiller and everything, but for showers and when I'm washing vegetables, it's just better to have a little higher quality water. I want to get a sauna in there. I'm going to install a tub, for cold water plunges. All sorts of cool stuff that I would like to do in my quote-unquote dream home. It's not going to be a very fancy, expensive thing, but, just something that I want to do. All right, putting some ginger in here. And so what I'm trying to say, there is a difference between organic and inorganic minerals. And plants, the way the plants work with the sun, and the way they really transform these things from the soil into something that we can definitely eat, that does appear to be good for us in regards to research. You have to look at a lot of the studies. And I look at a lot of different studies because I like to see studies that are done in different. There was a study recently done, I believe, it was in India, and it was a really good research study about food. And of course, showing that a lot of the food, basically was showing the plants are healthier for us. That's basically the gist of the study. And I just realized I forgot to put, so one of the things that I like to put in the smoothie, I'm putting blueberries. Blueberries also anti-cancerous, also extremely good for the vascular system. Almost every single ingredient in here, you can literally Google it. I would say, yeah, almost every single ingredient is actually good for your heart. And heart disease is one of the #1 killers in the world. So, and then high amount of fiber. A lot of people don't value fiber enough. Pretty magical. This one I was supposed to put in earlier. This was a gift from somebody. And normally I put, this is like minerals with nutrients. Normally I put the minerals in a different kind, but I'm using this right now because I'm very grateful for the gift. And I'm going to put some hydrogen water in here, actually. ready, and I'm going to put it in there because, although it may sound crazy, there was actually a study done in Japan, and I got to see it, and it was kind of mind-boggling. So this is interesting. It's a difference between normal food, organic food, and then food that's been soaked in hydrogen water, which I'm soaking right now. And the reason that it was super interesting was because they measured the level of antioxidants in the food, which is important in my personal opinion. Remember, I don't give you any medical advice. I don't make any claims. And I'm not making any claims for or against any product or product if I'm talking about anything. It's all my opinions, okay? So basically what they realized was, and this is shocking, that organic food versus non-organic food. Organic food actually has quite a bit higher levels of antioxidants and nutrients. So that was kind of a surprise. I personally believe that being the case, that means that organic food will probably have more anti-inflammatory properties, which is really important for health. You know, inflammation is something you do not want, primarily or typically. And then, if you soak the food in hydrogen water, that's where things got really weird. I mean, wacky. And I say wacky because I would have never guessed it. The level of antioxidants in the food went up dramatically. And so somehow the hydrogen's going into the food and enhancing it. And I think that right there is amazing. Now we are talking about molecular hydrogen. I would never do that with I would definitely never do it with Brown's gas. That stuff's gross. It uses chemical like lye, something really nasty. I wouldn't do it with the hydrogen pills. Hydrogen leaves so quick. You want something that's stable. The hydrogen that I'm making, if you guys don't know, it's called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium, obviously from the official website, it's Holy Hydrogen, and their hydrogen is very stable. And the nanobubbles, in fact, I just got their new machine because it has a new technology that literally nobody has. Even the company itself was surprised. They just try to improve the product over and over, and they just keep making better hydrogen, and they're making something called sticky hydrogen, and it just sticks to everything. So that's going to be even better. The nanobubbles are so tiny, and the way that they structure the hydrogen is just sticking everything. So that's been pretty awesome. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to add a secret ingredient because it has a large amount of protein, also very anti-cancerous. Somebody says hello from New York City. Hello, hello. You know what? My phone's about to die. Hold on, let me plug in the charger on it. So let's see here. I'm going to put this magic ingredient in there. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. What do you think of Garden of Life products, particularly their protein powder? I still use Purium powder shake, thanks to you. Definitely don't like their protein powder. Almost any company that makes, quote unquote, a protein powder, I just think it's crap. That's just my personal opinion. Now they did used to have something called raw meal, which they still have. Raw meal is pretty good. The reason that I moved away from raw meal is what I used to use. I hope you guys understand that I'm always seeking to try to do the best. So the best stuff, and raw meal, I saw it tested positive for pesticides. A lot of stuff tests positive for pesticides, even if it's organic. The Purium powder that I used did not test positive for pesticides, like literally zero, and I never saw anybody get a result like that. It was very impressive. And when you try the product, the taste, the way it feels, everything just looks literally better. And since I've been using it and I got blood work, even my blood work looked better, which I was a little surprised, but yes. Okay, here's the secret ingredient, guys. I'm using something called natto. It's a little weird to put this in the smoothie for a lot of people, but this has almost as much protein as beef. The reason, and this is how you activate it. You activate it by stirring it. This is according to the data. Again, scientific. I'm a data-driven guy, so hopefully you guys understand that. If you want to do research on natto, it's unbelievable. It's the only food on all of planet Earth that has a specific enzyme. And thanks for all the thumbs up, by the way. I just saw you guys give a bunch of them. This particular ingredient is highly anti-cancerous, been shown to oxygenate basically the cells, so it's difficult for cancer to, continue to move forward. A lot of protein. What I like about it is that it also thins the blood, so it acts like almost like a natural statin. And I combine that with other foods in here that actually get the body to produce nitric oxide, opening the blood vessels, and then you thin the blood, and then you add hydrogen, guys, and then you open up the ghost vessels with the hydrogen. This basically means that you're going to get really good blood flow. And let me tell you something about blood flow. It's extremely important for your health to have proper blood flow, okay? And the reason is because all that blood is carrying all these nutrients, and all these nutrients that I'm putting in the smoothie. So this is I mean, this smoothie, and I've known people get on it, really feel the difference, really feel amazing on it. In fact, there's a guy that I just recently met who's like really wants to get healthy, and you know, he's overweight and not super good. So I got him on a few things, and he's already super, like, not only excited, he's like, dude, I already feel the difference. He's been drinking actual clean water and stuff like that. So this is how you activate it. You literally have to stir it about 100 times. And again, the health benefits of natto are so amazing. It's been thoroughly studied by the Japanese for decades. And so they know the health benefits. And it, again, it's the only food known to man that has an enzyme in it, a special enzyme called nattokinase or nattokinase that has had some really great health benefits. But because we, I hate to say, don't have total free speech, I probably shouldn't talk about it because it involves some things that happen when you take certain medicines that they are trying to hide. And I don't need to go down that road because if I talk about it, then they'll make the channel disappear and then you guys can't get the information that might potentially help you be healthier and happier. So we wouldn't want that, would we? Okay, I'm gonna put a banana in. I got a lot of bananas today, so I might put a couple extra. And the banana really helps with the natto flavor. A lot of people don't like the flavor of the natto, which I understand. But you're gonna realize what I'm putting in here are fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and beans. And that right there are pretty much all the ingredients that I have used to significantly improve my health and my blood. So now I'm gonna put some nuts in there. I like the healthy fats. These are walnuts, organic. Normally I like to soak them in water when I get a chance to, so they're just kind of dried walnuts. But they also have been shown, they actually use them on a study where they literally put them on cancer cells, some parts of the walnut, and actually showed that they appear to be very anti-cancerous. So a lot of interesting aspects to walnuts. And I found a place where I can get them and quote unquote afford them, so I did. I forgot to mention the chia seeds, which I already put in there. The chia seeds that were soaked in water. Lots of good minerals, lots of protein, actually good omegas. And the minerals, so the minerals are key. I mean, one of the key components of this whole thing is you have to have minerals mixed with the fiber and mixed with the nutrients. They all work synergistically. That's the thing about health that we need to realize. A lot of people don't really seem to understand this. Even with like people who do the whole meat diet, they end up being very deficient in minerals. Causes a lot of problems with your health. You want the minerals. That's why vegetables are like the perfect food. They have minerals, fiber, protein, phytonutrients, on it goes. Okay, somebody says, hello, Hydrogen Man. Hello, Jacob. Reliable Andrew says, do you ever incorporate fasting as a healing modality? Water fasting, dry fasting? Absolutely, yes. There's a lot of good science on fasting. I've actually discovered a way, it was kind of quote unquote my invention many years ago. I created what I call the hydrogen fast. And that to me will change the world of fasting. It's actually even way more powerful in my opinion than normal fasting. And I do the super clean. Now when you're gonna do fasting, you want extremely clean water. I mean, that's the whole point, is to purify the body. So first you take the cleanest water, then you put very clean hydrogen. I would not make any hydrogen again with chemicals like lye. Even certain metals, I would never use stainless steel. I would never use plated metals. You've got to just do it super clean, right? And then once you go dry fasting, you can actually switch to inhaling pure hydrogen gas, because again, that's where all the research is at. And again, from a very clean device. You guys already know I use a Japanese, the #1 machine in all of Japan, the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium from Holy Hydrogen. And then that would be, I didn't go into detail really, but yes, there is a fasting protocol that I've created, a hydrogen fast protocol. So yes, I absolutely think that it's extremely important, though I like to do highly anti-parasitic cleanse before I also do my fasting, because the average person has, unfortunately, way too many parasites in their body, and I would want to bring the numbers down, because otherwise while you're fasting, what can happen is these parasites will literally rob you of a lot of nutrients, and oftentimes even begin to feed on you basically. And you don't want those in your body when you're fasting, in my opinion. I want to bring the numbers down as much as I can. And hydrogen has been shown in a study that I found. It does appear to have a positive impact on bringing down the number of parasites in the body, specifically in the liver in that particular study. And it was pretty dramatic. So I like to do a lot of anti-parasitics and clean out my body or my temple before I would do a fast. And I would also very much want to be loaded up on nutrients. So I want my vitamin D levels up real good. I want every single nutrient up really, really high, because when you fast, it does deplete you. And that's one of the bad parts about fasting, which is why you don't want to go too long, and you got to really, really, really know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can really cause a lot of harm to yourself. So you don't just jump on a fast. You better know what you're doing. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, I found out about you through Faith Unveiled channel when Paul Obel was alive. I know that, you know, Paul Obel, I love that guy, but I tried to give him some suggestions on his health because he was definitely overweight. He did a few things, but he actually fell off the wagon. I remember just was like, oh, you know, he got kind of lazy, started doing a lot of traveling, and started gaining weight back. And super awesome guy though. I absolutely love Paul. In fact, he just kind of made me sad there, you know, bringing him up. But I absolutely love Paul. I wish he was still here. I do believe that he could still be here had he made some changes. He was, you know, he was not super healthy when I met him. And, you know, you catch something, which he did, which I won't go into because, you know, we don't have free speech. But yes, he definitely needed some things in his body that he didn't have. And one of those extremely important nutrients, I'm not going to make any claims, but I am going to show you how I add it today. This smoothie is the everything smoothie. There's every nutrient basically is going to be in this thing. I've been doing this for many years and had my blood tested many times to make sure that it really is able to provide the nutrients that I need. And to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of surprised how good it's worked. I didn't really necessarily think it would work that good. I thought I'd have to start supplementing more vitamins or something, but this is all I've done, these powders and this smoothie, and with the hydrogen water and the clean water, obviously. And it's been kind of dramatic. I'm extremely surprised. And the research just keeps coming out about the importance of a lot of things that I've actually already been doing. So, you know, and I'm not opposed to changing my mind on things. I'm very open-minded. I am not going to just stick to something like this because of a belief system. I'm a data-driven guy, so if somebody showed me data otherwise, then I would definitely listen. But I've looked already at so much of it, and for many, 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 many years. I mean, I'm pretty well read up on all this stuff. And this is the easiest, most affordable way that I can do this every single day. So I'm glad you found me. And I hope that, you know, this is helping you. Okay, let's see. Somebody said natto is good. Do you use systemic enzymes by any chance? No, I don't actually technically really need to. A lot of these foods are already rich in enzymes, and I eat a lot of foods that are rich in enzymes actually. And if I really want to use them, I would use the best ones in the US, or the best ones that are basically accessible throughout the world, are a company that carries these Japanese enzymes. It's called, what's the name of that company? It's not Purium. Purium's the powder. Puridyne. And if you go to Puridyne, they have really, really high quality enzymes, not watered down. They really care actually about people and their products. And I like companies like that. And you can actually get a discount. And if you want to support the channel with the code UPRISING144K. And if the code doesn't work or something, please let me know, because it should work. And we'd had a few issues with that, so just let me know. But yeah, they have amazing enzymes. I have used those before. Really good at cleaning the blood. Really good data on them, actually. The Japanese are the ones who actually discovered, again, the power of how to use these enzymes, and they actually make the best enzymes in the world. The one enzyme that's better than that company is one that you basically can't really get. It's extremely expensive. The quantities that they make are very limited because of the way they make them. And you'd have to be part of this thing where you sign up for it every single month, and you'd have to be lucky to even be able to get on the list, because again, we only have a certain amount because of the way that they grow them. And I have been able to try them myself, and they're very interesting and really delicious actually, because they're made from food instead of a dried capsule. It's like a paste. It's almost like a jam, and truly unbelievable, award-winning, made in Japan, in the mountains of Japan. So very, very impressive stuff. Okay, let's see if I missed any questions. I think, what are your thoughts on, oh yeah, I already got that one. And I think that was most of the questions, right? Do you use, oh, here we go. Somebody said, it's still a continued challenge. I'm in a good physical shape, but my digestive health is on and off. Oh, that's an easy one, in my opinion, Fix. Hi, Greg. Hi there. Any good tests you're aware of for checking for parasites? You know, what I would do, here, let me see. Here's the thing. I don't know if I would focus that much on spending money on getting tests for parasites. I would spend the money and the effort on just doing what you know is good for killing parasites. Because there's so many different types. And I have some pretty intense protocols. Let me put some more hydrogen water in this, almost done. I would just do a lot of the things that are anti-parasitic diet, anti-parasitic water, which is hydrogen water, really, really clean water so there's no parasites in it. So you don't want to keep trying, there might be things that you're doing that is introducing parasites into your life continually. So why would you even bother really, dare I say, killing them and then go and having, you know, some bacon or pork or whatever, you know, things that are introduced into your body all over again. I have what I would call a very anti-parasitic lifestyle. Most of the foods that I eat are actually anti-parasitic in nature, and I just like it. It helps me keep my mind clear. All right, guys, this is gonna be a little noisy, and then I'm gonna answer. I notice there's more questions. I'm gonna answer them, but I'm gonna show you the final ingredients that are really, really good, that are absolutely necessary to be healthy, for this smoothie to be healthy, for you to be healthy. And actually, some of these are really magical for bones, inflammation. Just truly magical ingredients I'm about to show you. So hold on a second. It's all about the nutrients, guys. All about the nutrients. Here we go. Three magic ingredients that just absolutely change this whole smoothie. And they're all, in my opinion, crucial if you're trying to make the healthiest smoothie in the world. One of those is hemp hearts. I'll show you why those are so magical in a second. Vegetables and everything. Otherwise, it kind of, I don't like chunks in my Okay, I'm going to throw a few extra ingredients in a little bit, but I'm going to at least have one glass first and answer your guys' questions, and then I'm going to just toss in a few, because I have extra bananas. I might throw an extra banana. Okay, so here comes a very, very, very important ingredients in this thing. These are good, in my opinion, for absolutely everybody. First one, vitamin D3 with K2 in its ionic form. Vitamin D, the #1 researcher of vitamin D in the world, and I heard him do a very large talk with all the data that he's accumulated on all the research. He runs, he's the head of a hospital. Vitamin D is so ridiculously important for inflammation, for your bone health, for not catching the common cold, or even something more severe, which I won't name because we don't have free speech. But all I'll say is that vitamin D is the biggest no-brainer. Super important for your brain health now too. That's what they're realizing. So you have to have vitamin D. Sorry. And most of your food will not have it. And even the foods that do have some of it don't have enough of it. Hemp hearts. Hemp hearts are also ridiculously nutritious. They literally look like a multivitamin all on their own. The ingredients, just hemp hearts, nothing else. I like foods that are just simple. No added sugars, no added colors, none of this garbage. I just want the raw form of it. And hemp hearts is also probably the most well-balanced protein in the world, guys. It's a super well-balanced of omega-3s and 6s. So it has a lot of protein on top of it all. People are always kind of complaining about protein, but it's a healthy type of protein that's actually good for the heart. And so, yes. And then the final ingredient, let me go ahead and have a sip here and move it over to the camera for 1 second. That's pretty good. I like that. But I am going to add, this is what I'm going to add today, because I got some bananas. There's this place that I found that when the bananas are starting to turn, they sell organic bananas super cheap. So I'll buy a bunch of them. And they're also really good health benefits from bananas. In fact, I think we were just reading yesterday that they also appear to have an anti-parasitic properties. And I was like, what? And I'm going to add more hydrogen water to it. And which I'm pretty much used all my hydrogen water here. And I'm going to show you the final ingredient that really brings all this together. And I'm going to answer the rest of your guys' questions, and we'll go from there, okay? So for right now, I'm going to actually let the hydrogen soak in this smoothie. I'll blend that in a little bit, because I'm going to sit down and enjoy my other one and answer your guys' questions here. Okay. Let me plug in my phone, and let's see the last of your questions. And here's the last ingredient. This actually really changes things. Hydrogen inhalation. So I'm inhaling the hydrogen literally while I'm having my smoothie. It actually enhances, in my opinion, and this is based on some data, but I've seen some scans, so I kind of create my own protocols. Basically, it's going to help carry the nutrients better. It's going to help me absorb them better, and that's absolutely key. You got to absorb the nutrients. Okay, let's see what people's questions are. Delicious. Okay. A lot of these I've already answered. That's why I'm trying to find the right questions. Okay, Jacob says, that situation was really sad. Yeah, he's talking about Paul. I pray that his soul is better on the other side. I learned last October that I need to be vegetarian, and I'm doing my best to cut out unhealthy foods out of my diet. Hey, good for you, Jacob. Very good. Wasn't there a story in the Bible? What was it? Daniel or someone who's like, give me vegetables. Was it Daniel? Yeah, I think it was Daniel. He appears to have been right. Doesn't mean that meat is bad or anything. I just think that it's all about ratios and how much you eat. Okay, Steve says, hi Greg, are there any good tests you're aware of? Oh yeah, the parasites. Yeah, you know, when they test for parasites, they only typically find them when they're just totally out of control, you got a major problem, which I don't like. It's the same thing with cancer. A lot of times they don't find the cancer until you have literally already millions of cells, because they just can't detect it. And they can in other tests, but none that America knows about. There's some in Japan, some very new technology. Okay. Jacob says, it's still a continued challenge. I'm in good physical shape of my digestive health. Yeah, for your digestion, you need a lot of fiber, the fruits, the vegetables, actually clean water so you don't introduce bad things into your GI. And hydrogen has been amazing for gut health. I mean, absolutely amazing. I've worked with so many people with gut health problems, hydrogen, and you know, they use the proper protocol, the proper hydrogen. I've seen those issues just disappear. It's pretty amazing. Okay, Reliable Andrew says, do you use oxygen therapies like ozonated water, oxy powder? I think oxy powder is garbage. But I do have a medical grade ozone device. So yes, I do like ozone. I do like oxygen, but very, very limited, especially with oxygen. We have clear evidence that when you begin to use it, there actually can be a lot of detrimental effects for using it literally more than 3 days in a row. And then if you keep using it, things just get worse. So a lot of the benefit is actually going backwards, meaning using less oxygen. That's why a lot of athletes use equipment that actually reduces the amount of oxygen they get, because your body is strained and tries to produce more red blood cells by doing this, and then you pump it full of oxygen for just like a couple days. And so there's a way to use oxygen. Oxygen is much more dangerous. You have to know how to do it. Ozone can be dangerous, but has lots of benefits. And I would never do it without hydrogen because there's too much oxidation that happens, too many medical issues. I've seen it, I've read about it. Simple answer is yes, though. Steve says, provided we don't start with too many parasites, would a smoothie plus hydrogen protocol be enough to do the job? I don't know if I understand your question, but I'll say that hydrogen with really clean water and a good, like the smoothies, in my opinion, will definitely bring parasitic numbers down in the body. That's just my opinion, but I really do think it will. Pavel says, what are your thoughts on H2 pills? I think they're absolute garbage. I think they're absolute a gimmick. I'm saddened by the fact that they, quote unquote, push this on people and trick people because it really is not going to provide much benefit in my opinion. Hydrogen is odorless, colorless, tasteless, and pH neutral, okay? When you use the pills, it makes a color, which is gray, which is not pure. 2, it's not tasteless because when you drink it, it tastes like metal. It's just horrible. It's not pH neutral because when you put it in the water, it actually turns it very acidic. Look at the lab tests I've showed on my channel before. And it's definitely not odorless because it smells like crap when you make it. And I've seen the lab tests of what's in them when you drop them in water. And the moment I saw what was in them, I'll never take those again. You couldn't even pay me to take those. I just think it's a gimmick. Okay, Steve says, I was hoping that's what you'd say about the parasites and tests. Thanks. Okay. Reliable Andrew says, would that one smoothie you made be enough to provide energy sustenance throughout the day if taken, say, every few hours? In my opinion, absolutely. This is literally all I eat. I eat this for breakfast, and sometimes I'll even have some for lunch, but literally I have this for breakfast, and it gets me through the entire day all the way up until dinner. But I will say this, and I think this is important. When I first started, it wasn't satisfying enough. And I would always want to have something else like oatmeal or something. What's interesting is the more you get, a lot of times you feel hungry, not because you're actually hungry, or when you're not satisfied, not because your stomach's not full. It's because you don't have the proper level of nutrients in your body, and your body's trying to tell you, I need nutrients. And so as I cleansed out the parasites out of my body, which allowed me to get greater absorption of the nutrients because they're not robbing me from them, and the hydrogen, which helps me absorb nutrients even more, and then I continued to get used to the smoothies, eventually that hunger or satisfaction would kind of go away, and I would be okay with just the smoothies. It takes time. Your body's tricking you and messing with you. And you have to be the master of this body rather than the parasites in the body being the master of you, and you're so confused. You don't know what it's telling you. That's another thing. Like, I feel a lot of things, and I'm always trying to figure out what it is that I'm feeling to understand it. So I don't know if that answers your question. Hopefully it does. Bearlow says, much love, Hydrogen Man. LOL. All right. Thank you so much. Love the love. Jacob says, where can you buy that bottle? What bottle? I don't know what you're talking about, Jacob, so you can clarify. Susan Heidman says, what herbs kill the largest variety of parasites? There's so many things that are claimed to kill parasites. There's a lot of things that, in my opinion, are good at handling parasites, but it's not like you're just gonna take one herb and boom. Now, one good one, just off the top of my head, is neem. Neem is really great. Papaya seeds, which I sometimes throw in the smoothie. But there's a large here. I mean, it's not like there's just one. I mean, they've even talked about things like black walnut. One thing I can tell you, I was reading a lot about raw cacao aiding in not only heart health, brain health for people who are concerned about dementia, Alzheimer's. And by the way, vitamin D appears to be really good for that now too, new research. And mental health and reducing inflammation due to its antioxidant properties, and that's raw cacao. Now, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some stuff here. Hold on a second. So I do know about black walnut being good for parasites. Clove, oregano, that's right, oregano is really good. Grapefruit's interesting. Pumpkin seeds, I put those on my salads basically every single day. Garlic, I like to eat pretty much almost every single day. That's also really good for parasites. Wormwood, I've heard, I've used it before. Papaya, but I don't use it like every single day. You know, what else is there? There is fennel is good. There's a lot of stuff. Golden seal. But I like to integrate it into my lifestyle and cut back on the things that would introduce parasites into my body. Jacob Campbell says, do they only sell that at Costco? I don't have a Costco membership. I don't know which one you're talking about, but there's a lot of things that I buy because the price is better at Costco. Like those hemp hearts, I get a big organic bag. If I were to go to a different store, I would get a small non-organic bag for like the same price. So I get it at Costco. I just, and I look everywhere. It's not just Costco, but I literally bounce around to different stores. Okay, Jacob says, those machines aren't necessarily the most cost effective for people in financial binds, but one day I'd great to have a hydrogen water machine. Yeah, I definitely understand. I do understand. And if you knew me in more detail, because you guys don't know how I live my life, but I don't spend my money, you can probably tell like on clothes. I don't spend my money on fancy cars. I don't spend my money on a lot of things. I'm very, very frugal, so I save up, and my health has become my absolute priority. Physical health, mental health, you know, I just want to feel good. It's all that matters. And so I made sacrifices. Pavel says, okay, thanks you. Oh yes, you're welcome, Pavel. Sorry about the bad news. I wish there was a cheap way to do hydrogen. There isn't at this time. Maybe in the future that will change. I have some theories about how to maybe potentially make it, but nothing that's been totally verified. You know what? I'll take out this earpiece now that I'm not moving around. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Jacob says, you showed a small bottle earlier in your video. Oh, the vitamin D? Is that what you're talking about? I have a video on it, and I have the links there if you want it. Of vitamin D and boron. Really good. Earthman says, do any of your clients clean up what they eat along with hydrogen to clean up their bodies so they can eventually go breatharian? Oh my gosh. Okay. All the people I talk to will do different things. Some don't want to change their diet. Some will slightly modify their diet. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I just noticed. Some people just want the clean water and the hydrogen, and I've seen that bring a lot of benefit to people. Just that has been remarkable. Breatharian, I hate to tell you, is pretty much another one of these gimmicks. You can't go without food, okay? You can't just breathe your nutrients. I've seen the claims. I dug deep. I even found out that these guys were basically lying. And breatharian is just a scam. There was one guy who was tested for a pretty decent, period of time, but he was super, super skinny. And I think at some point he's going to definitely be deficient, and he's not going to be healthy, and he didn't look healthy. And so I hate to tell you, Earthman, and you probably won't believe this, but being a breatharian is just silly. There's nobody on planet Earth right now that can just go without food. Or water for that matter. And those type of things bother me because they lead people astray, and then people try to do it, and there have been people who've gotten very sick from doing such things. So, I'm sorry. I'm a realist, and I'm a data-driven guy. So, Reliable Andrew says, Greg, do you do extended fasts, say 7 days or more? Yes, I have done much longer than that, and they're pretty brutal. But I have done them. It was very important for me to get my health back. Dramore says, hi. Hey, Dramore. Dramore's a funny guy. So don't take him too seriously, guys, if he makes some weird jokes. It's turned out good. Okay, Leap of Faith says, do you know the oxalate levels of that? Okay, another one of the people who worries about oxalates. I have looked into the oxalates. I looked at the levels and everything that I'm doing. I've been doing it for well over a decade. My blood work looks really good. The oxalates are not super dangerous for me in the amounts that I'm consuming them. And hydrogen has also been proven, there's literally a study on it, where it literally shows that the body will, hydrogen helps protect the body from the oxalates. And maybe that's why I've had no issues. But yes, I am aware of that. And I mean, if you don't eat vegetables, then what do you eat, you know? And so, I mean, you could eat meat, but you know, the research on that, as far as long-term research, I know a guy who literally just passed from being on a carnivore diet, which was really sad, for too long. I think it was nudging on 2 years or something. And for long-term, it's just not sustainable. So life's all about balance. So Jason Root says, Eli Tam El Amin, he's been doing it for years and looks fine. Yeah, I'm sure he's telling you that he's doing it for years. I've already found people who used to claim the same thing, that they'd been doing it for years, and then they were found out to be lying. So there's a lot of people who do that. You can go ahead and believe it if you'd like to. You can go ahead and try it. Try to live off the breath. Stop eating. Let's see how far you get, and then message me back. All right, Barbara says, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Jacob says, what is your personal opinion for people who use medicinal mushrooms in a microdose way to improve mental health or other things in their life? I personally believe in the power of mushrooms. In fact, there was a really good study that just came out on the correlation between certain specific nutrients that are pretty much only found in mushrooms and dementia and Alzheimer's. Super good for the brain. I absolutely love medicinal mushrooms. I think microdose is great. You just have to know how to do it, what you're doing. I think it's really good for your mental health. I think it helps you snap out of just looking at life from one perspective. I like to look at life from many different perspectives, actually, because I believe that that helps me understand others and myself in greater ways. So, and to be quite honest, it's a lot of what's helped me create protocols. I mean, yes, I read scientific data. Yes, I do critical thinking. Yes, I look at ancient scriptures. Yes, I meditate. And I think that things like the mushrooms are absolutely a beautiful thing from nature if you know how to do it correctly. But be cautious. Remember, no medical advice here, no claims. So you guys, you know, do your thing. Bearlow says, do you have any physical exercises or strenuous hobbies you do throughout the week? Yes. So I do stretching, and I've created my own little workout routine that is very low impact. I don't have to get crazy big, you know, and strong. That was more of an ego thing. Back in the day when I was younger, I think it was just because of bowling that, you know, I tried to get really big and strong, and I was quite a bit larger and muscular, but health became the absolute priority. So even my training regimen is all about health. So yes, I have created a whole routine that I do for my exercise. In fact, the place where I go to, because I use their sauna too, it's funny, there was a guy there who was, you know, hanging out with me in the sauna, and he thought I worked out for like hours. He's like, how do you get your figure to look like that? And I was like, I only work out for, I've never timed myself, but I think it's somewhere in about 15 to 20 minutes. And he just couldn't believe it. He's like, you look like that from 15 or 20 minutes of exercise? I said, well, yes, but I do it every day, or about 4 to 5 times a week. And then of course the diet, he goes, oh, the diet, right, okay. And so, you know, it's a combination. Hydrogen's really good, by the way, for muscles and hormones like testosterone. Earthman says, thanks for responding. I'm gonna answer the rest of your questions, but hold on. I'm gonna grab a little more smoothie, so give me a second. I should really call this the anti-parasitic smoothie. Well, but it's got so many nutrients. And people don't understand how important fiber and hydrogen is for absorbing the nutrients. I'm telling you, absorbing the nutrients is absolutely key. You can take a vitamin, it'll go right through you. You've got to make sure that you can achieve absorption. All right, moving on to the next question. From, let's see, Ted Schmidt says, just had a nice discussion on parasites and cancer with Dr. Jane Ruby. Okay, great. Glad that you did that. Okay, let's see here. Reliable Andrew says, would You recommend juice fasting for a limited duration to kick off a healthy lifestyle? I don't think there's anything wrong with juice fasting. And you can do it. I prefer smoothies because I've done a lot of juice fasting. And I don't really consider that fasting. That's just juicing. But you spend so much money on massive amounts of produce only to bring it down to like a little bit of juice. I've done it before. It's expensive. It's time consuming. And is it good for you? Sure. I'm not saying it's not good for you. I think it's a good thing. I'm just saying that smoothies are quicker, easier, cheaper, and they have all that fiber. You're getting rid of the fiber, and fiber, the research on fiber that's coming out is unbelievable. I'm so glad I've been doing it for as long as I have. I switched to smoothies because they were more realistic, and I kind of knew about the fiber thing, but it turns out that it's way better than even I realized. Okay, Jamor says, breatharian would work if the air was choke full of bugs and hydrogen molecules. Then you drink the rain. Well, that's funny, Jamor. And you know what? Then you're just not eating air, you're eating bugs, right? Because your mouth is always open. Another good tip, breathe through your nose. Nose breathing, the science behind it, it's a really good thing. The hydrogen gets a little watery, so I'm gonna blow my nose real quick, excuse me. Everybody. All right, a few more questions and then I'm gonna move about my weekend here. Okay, Jacob says, I wish more Christian-based people were open-minded about psychedelic medicine done responsibly, specifically mushrooms. Big stigma from a lot of humanity. Well, yes, I would agree with you. And you know what surprised you? I'm a little surprised he didn't get bigger. There is a guy, and I believe he's Christian. Ironically, he's a lawyer. I got the most amazing thing to tell you right now. Hold on, I'm gonna drink some more of this, but a super interesting story about this guy. He started researching a lot into Christianity, stumbled upon the fact that it appeared that they might actually be using psychedelic mushrooms in Christianity. Now, being a lawyer, he's like, I absolutely have to have some type of proof. He spent a decade looking and spending so much money, so much time. His wife literally got so tired of it, she said, you need to stop. Right when he was about to stop, he got his big break. There is a museum in I can't remember what country or where it was, and they had one of these cups, almost like the cup of Christ that they passed around, you know, and it was from super long time ago, like the original Christians, before the Council of Nicaea, I mean, like really old. And it was in this museum, and it was really hard for him to get special permission. Eventually he did. And he tested the cup that these very early Christians were drinking of, you know, because they're always talking about the blood of Christ and all this. And they tested it, and it tested positive for psilocybin, which is what comes from psychedelic mushrooms. It tested positive for cannabis, which actually these hemp hearts technically might make you test positive for cannabis. It tested positive for, what was the other one? Oh, alcohol. So there was wine. And I think like another one or two other things. It was this concoction that was created. And do I think there's something to it? I do think so. I mean, nature was quote unquote created by God. So not to go too down the spiritual rabbit hole, but I do agree with you talking about the whole stigma thing. And I guess it just is what it is, but humanity will figure out someday. Okay, Stevie Henry says, what's a good thing to remove parasites, oh my gosh, and others from your colon? Didn't we go over this already? I mean, I guess I can do it again. There's a lot of good things for parasites, for overcoming them. The easiest one, first, you also have to cut back the very things that introduce them into your life. So I'm really big on cleaning my water. Why? Because there is no water filter in existence that removes all parasites, viruses, and bacteria, except for carbon distillation, which I'm literally doing right here. You can look right there. That's my carbon distiller. It takes 3 to 6 hours to purify 1 gallon of water. And it's not just removing viruses and bacteria and parasites. It also removes all the bad stuff. So all the chemicals, all the fluoride, all the PFAS, you know, all the pesticides that like glyphosate. On and on it goes. I have a lab report, and I've researched every water filtration modality in existence. I know them all. And carbon distillation is the only one that I now use pretty much, because trying to remove that. Then all the foods that you saw that I made in the smoothie, almost every single one of those is anti-parasitic. I would also never eat pork again. Pork is just something that the research, it's completely out of the question for me. I'll never do that again. And the reason is because the more you purify your body and purify your mind, that I've done this, and pulling out these parasites, you get this clarity, and I never want to lose that again. And so that's one of the reasons that this is so important for me to feel the way that I feel. So it's just, yeah, just the way that I go about things. Diatomaceous earth is a very cheap way to clean out your colon also from a lot of parasites. You can easily look up a lot of protocols. I've shown some on some videos. Make sure to get food grade diatomaceous earth. That's another really good one. So there's a few cheap, you know, tips. Barlow says, right on, thank you for replying. You're welcome. Yeah, I always hate these shows when people like get on and then they never like really look at everybody's question. And I know there's a lot of them, but so yes. Stacy Wakal says, I'm drinking my shake I make from your recipe right now also. All right, Stacy, well, I hope you're enjoying it. I mean, I'm enjoying mine, so this tastes really good to me. And that extra banana made it taste even better. So much nutrients in this, yes, including protein, but massive amount of nutrients, minerals, fibers, phytonutrients. Inhale the hydrogen while you do it, even better. All right, Drumore says, I'm taking half measures and I feel a lot of clarity, but it's also personal development. I agree, Drumore. I've known that you're kind of doing the half measure, and a lot of people do that. You know, you go as far as you feel you can, but try to push yourself little by little, but not too much, right? So I hope you continue to get good results. It says, I'm avoiding processed food for good, including bread. Now that, in my opinion, is a really smart thing to do. There's a lot of things you can do. Like if you like carbs, okay, have some oatmeal, you know, have some steamed white rice that's organic, preferably from Japan if you can, because they're master farmers. They're really good at growing their rice. And things of that nature. I like to buy things that only have one ingredient. Like my rice ingredients, it just says rice. My hemp hearts just says hemp hearts. When you get these processed foods or these breads, they have like 50 ingredients and all this stuff. And if they've ever put sugar in it, just stay away. Processed sugar is just pure evil. In fact, there's research now that literally shows that it actually acts like cyanide in the body. Processed sugar, not sugar from a banana or an apple. Processed sugar appears to be acting like cyanide in the body. It's almost like a slow poison for the body. So that's pretty wild. And I'm sure that if you were to eat a lot of sugar, you're gonna feel like crap and go into a sugar coma. Okay, Stacy says, yeah, I mix up the fruit to get another flavor, but always a banana. Yeah, I know, the banana really, really changes everything. All right, guys, thanks for all the thumbs up so far. If you have any questions, let me know now or forever hold your peace, because I'm gonna go soon. Jacob says, you seem very knowledgeable, Hydrogen Man. I get that. It was a pleasure for you to allow to join the current YouTube live stream, and thanks for responding to my comments. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for the very kind comment. And yeah, I work on myself a lot. So yeah, I'm always reading, always learning, and always trying to modify my protocols to improve them, but not make them unreachable. I don't like unreachable goals, and there's a lot of health goals out there I've seen where it's just unreachable, undoable, or too expensive. So, okay. So thank you, Jacob, for the kind comment. Stacy Wakal says, what is the best rice? I like basmati rice. I wouldn't say that there's like a best rice or not best rice. You look at what's available in your area. I like stuff that's organic. They just spray a lot of stuff on things like rice, and I don't need a ton of it, okay? You know, I'll have, it's all about ratios. So I'll have a giant salad and I'll have some rice sometimes with it, with like soup, like miso soup. Miso soup, by the way, if you guys want to research that, it's so good for you. And it's so easy to make. Maybe one of these days I'll make a video and show you guys how I make it. So easy. Okay, Susan says, I've been following your channel for the last 6 months and find your content on the highest quality. Well, thank you, Susan. That's very kind. And I try, because my content is not swayed by different companies that try to contact me literally almost every day to promote their products. And I won't do it. I will only show you the data that I find, how I'm implemented into my life, and literally what I do. So I don't show you something that I don't do. I've seen people do that. They promote something that they don't even themselves use. They just do it for quote unquote the money or whatever. So I definitely walk the walk, and I'm really appreciative of your comment. I'm glad you like the data and find it to be high quality. Dramore says, bye. See you later, Dramore. Susan says, an autoimmune deficiency. And so started your smoothie protocol 2 days ago. I'll let you know how things go. Yes, for autoimmune, what I would personally do is, again, really clean water always, because there's things in your water that can mess with your immune system and even, in my opinion, even cause autoimmune issues. So that's the first thing. Hydrogen, in my opinion, is absolutely amazing actually for immune issues, autoimmune issues, typically because they're related to the gut. So that's another one. And then, of course, overcoming any nutritional deficiencies. So I hope all goes well. Let me know how things go. Stacy says, miso soup, yummy. Yes, I know, super good. Steve Thompson says, if we're having smoothies for breakfast and lunch, would it be a good idea to use jaw shark device to keep jaw muscles exercised based on the work of James Nestor in his book? Okay, so it's one of the reasons that I put the hemp hearts also on the smoothie, because I do chew them. So it is activating my jaw. And what I'm doing is I'm tricking my body. I guess, you know, what do they call it? Hacking the body, I guess. So I chew, but then all the other food I really want ground up, because we don't chew well enough. The average person doesn't chew well enough. So you're not chewing actually your food that good. And so I activate my jaw with the hemp hearts, and then all this gets digested like almost as if I were to chew it perfectly. That's why the blender does it for me. It just pulverizes it. And so for breakfast and lunch, that's a really good idea. But for dinner, I always have a solid meal. I don't do a liquid dinner for that purpose and other purposes also, but I do obviously chew my dinner, so it ends up being fine in my opinion. And then throughout the day, sometimes I'll eat, almost every day really is, in fact, I'll show you guys. Bitters are really good for you, and I'm gonna show you something that's really cool. Hold on. So this is something that I chew on every day, throughout the day, lab tested, and they're bitter raw apricot seeds. And they've been tested for herbicides, pesticides, non-GMO. So these are from a website, they're from RNC. The website is rncstore.com. Again, if you want a discount code and want to support the channel, it's uprising144K. And it seems to be a natural source of also what they call B17. And I never have more than 3 in, let's see, roughly 3 to 4 hour period. That gets me chewing. So hopefully that answers your question. Berlo says, better out than in. Give my B17. Okay, Stacy says, thanks for all the information over the last year. Plus, since I first saw your video, I use pure water distiller, the Lourdes breakfast smoothie. Lourdes breakfast smoothie, interesting. And so much more. Thank you. I'm 60 and it has done wonders for me. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Stacy. This is great. I'm glad you're feeling good. It couldn't have been a different fruit. I really don't care for apricots. Well, It's not apricots, it's apricot seeds. Technically, like it's like a nut. It tastes a lot like almond, but more bitter. And you know, if you have a hard time with the flavor, chase it with a smoothie. There's good research. I read it. It was actually kind of interesting because they try to tell you, I mean, it appears to be anti-cancerous. But from what the research showed, here, hold on, I'm gonna grab more smoothie. But the research was actually very, very interesting. I'll share in a second. Yeah, actually quite surprising is what I'll say, because it did show to have a positive, now I'm not making any claims, so you go read the research on your own, but it did appear to have a positive impact on cancer. But what the study said is that it was non-conclusive because it only worked while you were taking it. Can you believe that? That's literally what they said in the study. It only worked while you were taking it. So, I guess that means, I mean, I don't know, doesn't only things work if you're taking them? Kind of like you're only hydrated if you drink water. So you can't just drink water once and be hydrated for the rest of your life. So that's why I implement it into my daily life all the time. Stacy says, oh, if it's more like a nut, which it totally is, by the way, I might try it. Should have been a comma between Lourdes and the smoothie, LOL. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's just like a nut. I mean, I don't think I want to eat any more, but I guess I could just to show you. Because once I touch them, I don't like to put them back in the, I feel like it contaminates the bag. For those of you who don't know, kind of a germaphobe. Well, and it's all because of data. Like, have you ever seen bread that gets touched once and bread that doesn't get touched? The one that gets touched molds faster. So we have something on our hands, you know, but this is what it looks like. It looks a lot like, well, in my opinion, it looks a lot like an almond, kind of. And it tastes like them, but it is more bitter. It's got a bitter aftertaste. Like right now it tastes like almond. Now the bitter is starting to creep in. And with the smoothie, it's fine. They even sell it in a ground up form. You can actually add it to your smoothies. I think I have some. I just chew on them. So yeah, I'm very happy with today's smoothie. Okay, any last questions? I'm gonna get going. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Really appreciate it, guys. It's good for the algorithm. Shows me that you guys appreciate everything, and it's free. It's so easy to just, in fact, there's 20 people in the room and we don't have 20 thumbs up. It should be like a given, right? All right, guys. I don't see any last questions. But yeah, I will tell you that, actually, I think, you know what? I think apricot seeds, now this is just my hunch, and I'm gonna find out right now for you. Because my gut instincts are typically right. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have noticed that my gut instincts are right almost 90% of the time. It's about 86, 87% of the time. And I think apricot seeds might actually be good for parasites. Let's see. Are apricot seeds good for parasites? Pretty much because they're bitters. Yeah, bitters tends to have a good, and I kind of had, that's why I had that quote unquote idea. Oh geez, somebody put up a video actually of the effects of the apricot seeds on parasites. See, I kind of thought so. I can tell you some health benefits that have been scientifically proven from apricot seeds, because they have B17, which is called amygdalin, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, B15, essential fatty acids, omega-3s, omega-6s. They're really important. Yes, they also have carbohydrates, fiber, protein, calcium, iron. The very first thing about it, it says it may have anti-cancer properties, which, again, I already saw the research on that. And the studies have shown that apricot seeds have an anti-inflammatory property to them. Also, the nutrient for cancer prevention is B17, which is abundant in apricot seeds. That's kind of the reason that we like to eat those. It said, however, studies report that the compounds of these seeds can harm the body. Now, see, this is where things get also kind of wild. You always have to know about levels, because too much of anything will harm the body, and they do that sometimes in research to try to sway you from something, I've noticed. I'm not saying that it isn't. That's why you only do typically about 3 of them in about a 4-hour period. You don't want to overdo it. Okay, what else do they find here? It says some people believe that it helps kill cancer cells, blah, blah, blah. The studies have been shown that it can harm the body. This is weird that it says this. The compound in the seed can harm the body in addition to destroying malignant cancer cells. Do you not find that interesting? Because chemotherapy hurts the body too. Which one's worse? Using apricot seeds for cancer without consulting your doctor is not recommended. Yes, guys, I'm not giving you any medical advice, okay? So, yeah. Please do your research. Number 2, promotes heart health. I'll tell you, almost everything I do, it says also promotes heart health. Okay. Dramore says, too much of anything will harm you. Exactly. What about a breatharian? Too much hair? But weed has a high LD50. Yay for weed. Okay. Bulky Pug says, the B17 amygdalin thing is very fascinating rabbit hole to jump into. I mean, I've read about it. And I mean, I do know quite a bit about it, actually. Dramore says, weed is even safer than water. You can die from drinking too much water. That's true. Yeah, you're not lying. Well, hey, I'm not giving any medical advice. That's your truth, Dramore. Don't get me in trouble. Okay, so it's good for heart health. Yeah, we've known about that. Good for respiratory health. Anything good for respiratory health, in my opinion, is really important these days. A lot of people get lung issues from things out there. So it does say there is significant evidence that apricot seeds are linked to better respiratory health because they help with the mucus and the phlegm deposition in the respiratory tract. So that's interesting. Active ingredient actually acts as an expectorant. So that could be also good for people with allergies or something, considering, something like this. And also appears that it can help reduce the severity of asthma attacks and throat inflammation. So there you go. It also shows, this is interesting, because of its constitution, it appears to help improve digestive issues. A lot of the stuff I do is really good for digestive health, actually. So adding another thing. And then skin health. Wow. Apricot seeds have a mild exfoliating properties. They remove dead skin from your skin. So I didn't know that. Apricot seed oil has these essential fatty acids, vitamin A, vitamin E. They help nourish your skin. If you have issues with dry skin, you can also mix powdered apricot seeds, which I was just talking about, with actual olive oil and apply it literally directly on your skin. It absorbs quickly, does not leave a residue. Wow, interesting. So, okay. What else can we say? How many apricots can you eat a day? Now this is interesting. Experts say 1 apricot seed per day and then gradually increase to 5 per day. I would probably, actually I probably consume about 6 to 10 of them. But you work up to it, okay? So you want to be really, really cautious on that. The research suggests that even low doses can cause potential unpleasant side effects. I've never had any negative side effects, ever. It does say to avoid them if you have chronic health issues. Well, I will say that if your kidneys aren't super good, you don't want to be pumping yourself full of apricot seeds. But if you have kidney issues, you better do other things, in my opinion. I have a full protocol for kidneys. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. All right, let's see. I should probably go soon. Jamor says, my truth as a pothead, Canadian. Okay. Your truth. Barlow says, take care, man. I appreciate your presence as well as you just being you. Thank you. Have a lovely sunshine-filled day. Thanks again, man, for sure. Okay, you're welcome. All right, guys, any last questions? Thanks for all the thumbs up. I can see we have more thumbs up now than people, so that makes sense now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let you guys go. Anti-cancer potential, blah, blah, blah. Still found all this apricot seed stuff. Oh, cancer using diatomaceous earth and apricot seeds. I was just talking about both those. And I think anything that brings down your parasitic number is going to be really important for cancer in general. I prefer to prevent it than actually trying to deal with it once you have it, because that gets a lot harder. Never get too confident. Never be like, oh, I'll just wait till I get cancer and then I can totally fix it. I would never think that way. I don't think that's a good way to go about things. So I've known a lot of people who think that way, and I've seen it not pan out so good. So, okay, guys, any last questions? I'm giving you your last opportunity here because I am going to get rolling. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all the good, nice comments from everybody. I hope I read every single one of your guys' comments. Hope I didn't miss anything. And then Steve says, great video, Greg. Thanks. You're welcome, Steve. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. And I guess that's it. I'm going to keep actually doing some research here. I could leave the camera on, but I think that would be kind of boring for everybody. Oh, here we go. 10 best parasite cleanses. See? There's a lot of them that you can do now. See, this is interesting. They're just trying to sell you all these pills. And you know what? Some of them are great and all, but a lot of this, in my opinion, is, I don't want to say it's gimmicky. I prefer to live what I would call an anti-parasitic lifestyle. Food grade diatomaceous earth is so cheap, and that stuff is the real deal. And there is good research on that. Steve says, I made 2 pages of notes. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what you were taking notes on, Steve, but okay, cool. So a lot of stuff about apricot seeds. Pumpkin seeds is another big one. Now that one, like I said, it has good healthy fats, good protein, good nutrients, but also appears to have an anti-parasitic effect. Would I rely on pumpkin seeds just to kill a bunch of parasites and fix my body? No, but they have their place, you know. Well, anyway, okay, very interesting. Okay. Oh, parasite killer found to be an effective cancer treatment. Now that's the kind of stuff that's very interesting to me. And what is it? Let's see here. Looks like they just found this out. This is from the National Foundation of Cancer Research. Wow. Okay. It's probably some type of food. Let's see here. Rigorous clinical trials, really. Let's see here. Dr. Kaland explains. Oh, wait a second. Let's see. Sorry, I got to read a little bit, guys, but this is interesting. And I got to make sure it's legit, too. So they're specifically were focusing on prostate cancer, using a mechanism that they had discovered pertaining to something called NTZ. It had to do with a Norwegian team of workers. Well, come on already, I'm trying to find it. In the world of oncology, immunotherapy, what are they using? See, I gotta find what they're using now. Boy, a lot of doctors. Paul B. Okay, let's see. Come on. Oh, it's okay. I think I've heard about some of this actually. Now this one is it's a team exploring a viral-based immunotherapy for cancer patients. This is kind of crazy. They've literally got modified. I'm actually scared to say the V word because of how the whole algorithm works. Let's see what they did though, because I did see some research in regards to this. They said it's going to be a paradigm-shifting technique. Yep. Where they genetically modify a V. Yeah, I already knew about this. Okay, so this is actually, but why do they say, I thought maybe, what was the title again? Oh, parasite killer to find it. Okay, yes. Okay, so yes, I already know about this. I would gladly tell you guys. The only problem is some of the language that I would use would probably affect the algorithm, and that's too bad. But basically they modify, I'm sure you guys know what a V is. And they use it on these cancer cells, and if the dosing's wrong, it kills the patient. If the dosing's right, they've had great success, and this literally could be the future of cancer medicine. So yeah, I really liked it. The very first study they did was on a woman who was terminal and she had brain cancer, and the results were unbelievable. It's very, very interesting that something like a V could actually be potentially used in good ways. So that's very positive. Okay, let's see here. I guess Jamor says bye again. Steve Thompson says, just thinking, hydrogen reducing muscle atrophy before the jaw. Yeah, there is research showing that hydrogen appears to reduce muscle atrophy. I've had really good success by using hydrogen and not doing exercise for literally years. So that was actually, it was kind of an experiment for myself. And I was pretty shocked actually how good it worked, because it shouldn't work that good. I think they should use it on all elderly people who are like bedridden. I think it would really help a lot. Steve says, just thinking, oh yeah, okay, Dramor, Berlo, Steve says, helps the jaw anyway, yes. And Dramor says, I'm just saying bye because I thought you were going now. I was, and I am. I just, honestly, even if I shut off the camera, this is what I'd be doing. I'm gonna sit here and have a little bit more smoothie, and I'm probably gonna make some type of either like green tea or maybe even some fresh coffee, something like that. This is very interesting. I mean, I know about the connection between cancer and parasites, and how some quote unquote poisons, depending on levels, can have potential benefits. And that's where plant medicine comes in. Because people get on me about all my eating fruits and vegetables or whatever, and they're like, what about oxalates? What about this particular small amount of a poison, you know, or whatever? But that's why it's tricky. And you have to, I'm actually gonna grab more smoothie. It's all very interesting. I guess you choose your path. And quote unquote, you know, you do the things that you think are best. But I go off of so much data that, to me, it seems pretty clear what we're supposed to be doing. But hey, if more data comes out and proves me wrong, I'm always happy to adapt. But it's hard to imagine that fruits and vegetables aren't good for you, and nuts and seeds and beans. That's what all the ancient scriptures of ancient knowledge would talk about. Okay, let's see here. Dramor says, I'll send you my new reading videos. Oh yeah, I'm really proud of my videos. Book reading, I think that's cool. Steve says, mold free coffee, I hope. Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm very picky about my coffee. Has to be organic, whole bean. I grind it myself, you know, blah, blah, blah. But hydrogen also has been shown, there's an interesting study on the way that it affects, basically it's good for mold exposure, helping protect the body. I do a lot of things that protect my body, I think so, and I've been doing that in preparation for something that I believe might be coming in the near future. Even if there was a radioactive blast of sorts and the radiation moves out and hits a lot of people, you have to prepare your body to be able to withstand the radiation. And I've been doing that too. A lot of things to keep the body healthy and strong just in case anything catastrophic happens. And if it doesn't happen, then you're at your best and you're healthy. And if not, then, you know, get your body ready to take a hit like that. Okay, Stacy says, makes you wonder how they determine how much to give each patient after that comment you read. I know. I mean, they always have to kind of, you know, like I said, the study, read the study on amygdala. Read the study on B17. Like literally they did a double-blind placebo, you know, controlled trial. And it's really amazing the results that they saw, and then the comments they make at the end. They did the same thing with hydrogen and I believe Parkinson's. They make it sound like it doesn't do anything, but then you read the study and there was clearly markers that were being improved. And I even saw, I want to get the video footage. I saw a clip of it. Somebody who saw one of my videos got the Hydrofix, started doing the hydrogen protocol, couldn't walk for a long time from Parkinson's. They just started walking and they took video footage of it. Guys, it's so unreal. I can't wait to get that footage for you guys. Think about that. And then the videos I've done on Alzheimer's and dementia, the before and after pictures and the testimonial from the mother and the other lady with TBI, the traumatic brain injury. I mean, doctors say that these things are incurable. And I'm not saying that there's a cure, okay? But I am saying that it's wild to me that we have evidence even scientific evidence, and I've seen it myself, and it's so mind-blowing. Anyway, it's just unbelievable. I still can't believe it. And my channel has a very small amount of viewership. I really thought that the stuff that I've been able to show you guys, I thought it would just make a bigger difference, but I guess not. It's wild. Well, okay. I think I'm gonna get going, guys. Thanks for hanging out. This was a long video. Sorry for being such a long quote-unquote video. You know, there's a lot of things I was looking at. I don't know if you guys know propolis. Propolis is actually really good for parasites also. I'm a big fan of bees, like honeybees. They're so beautiful. And the way that they function and their little societies in the beehives and how clean they are. And propolis comes from that. They call it black cumin. I thought it was curcumin, but that's another really good one too. Lots of stuff that's good for keeping parasites under control. So Stacy says, people have got to want to change. Believe me, I totally get it. I've been there myself, so I totally understand. Your video instills change. Really? Well, wow. Thank you for the kind comment. I didn't really feel like I'm very, I didn't know that I inspire people or get people to want to change, but if it does, great, because I needed a lot of help when I had to change, and it was very, very hard for me to want to change. I got a problem with that. But once I get on the track, then I'm stuck on that track. So now I'm like, you know, I'm going to be like this probably forever. Okay. I don't see any last questions. Thanks for all the good comments, guys. And wow, look at all the thumbs up, excuse me. Wow. Okay, everybody give a last thumbs up if you haven't. And then I'm going to say goodbye. Well, maybe everybody already gave them because I see 25. Yes, and that's why your numbers are lower also. Really? Because I instill change? Well, okay. Or maybe I misunderstood. But yeah, it's a tough one. All right, Carol Ortons, give me another thumbs up. Yeah, I mean, somebody just removed their thumbs up, actually. That's funny. I meant thumbs up in another way, but that's okay. Thanks, guys. Steve says, positive RCTs on any substances that are cheaper. Patents are hard to come by. Cheap off patent are hard to come by. I don't know if I understand. Everybody's doing the thumbs up the wrong way. You guys have to do it the other way. But anyway, that's fine. Stacy says, yes, one must see a problem in order to change a problem. You know, I agree with you. I know I had to suffer a lot in order to want to change, and that really kind of sucked. I wish I would have lived healthier since the beginning, you know. Oh, well, next time I'll talk about anti-aging if you guys want to know about anti-aging. Some interesting research about that. Carol says, I removed it. I put it back again. Oh, there it is. All right, guys. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for the support. Love you guys. Till next time. Oh, wait. Okay, Stacy says, I don't know how to do it. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not like it's that important. It just kind of shows support, that people are interacting. You know, Carol says, me too. I don't know how to do the thumbs up. It's okay. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging. Till next time.